From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a huge day for June 20th of 2022 as Americans now wonder how bad the heating oil, the gas, and the utility bills will be in the winter months as the situation for gasoline continues to surge out of control. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. In today's recording, we go over the three phases of this economy I've identified. It's from now to September, a downward spiral. Then in September to January, the worst you've seen since the start of the pandemic. Then starting in January, you're going to see a 2-year recession. What do you need to do in these three phases? You need to get lots of stimulus. You need to raise your savings, and you need to remove ARDs. What are they? I'm going to go over the latest details of that later in this recording. The great news is that a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state, and you get it. You get it in today's recording. We're going to do three things. We're first going to go over where this economy is today. Then we're going to go over where the economy is going. And then we're going to go over those forced stimulus checks. I found them for you. Big checks. Upwards of $80,000. You deserve them. They're in every U.S. state. You do three things. You stay with me throughout this entire broadcast. Number two, you go into this video and subscribe. And number three, you become a member. Get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Today, we have a lot of breaking news for June 20th, 2022. As Janet Yellen spoke about the looming recession, so did Joe Biden. Meantime, the most important comments actually came from Germany. And it signals the problem of the heating oil and the gasoline and the gas prices for those utility bills at home in the winter months. We're going to go over that today. I know it's 1,000 degrees outside right now, but I'm going to prepare you for getting money for one of the worst bills you're going to have later this year, and it's that. It starts with getting these big monies right now as this economy spirals downward from now to September. You got great news, and the great news is I have a leadway. We have an advance warning to get that money quicker out the board. Later in this recording, we'll go over your benefits that are going up. How much are they going up? At least 8%. So says Social Security, but I say a little bit more. We'll go over all the analysis of that. Plus, we'll be looking at what's going to be happening this week as the financial markets are closed today, but I'm here with breaking news because it's afternoons. And the breaking news for June 20th, 2022 starts right now. And good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It is gorgeous here along the coast, but the weather will be heating up by the end of today. Oh, goodness. You'll see me melting by the evening's show tonight. It's at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Don't miss it. It's America's most watched show, and it'll have a lot of other breaking news. This, of course, is the breaking news leading up into that evening show tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. In a day like this, where the financial markets are closed in America, one of the biggest breaking news stories came from Germany. And Germany basically signaled the warning signals for us. They said this winter, there's so much shortage of oil because of the embargo of that Russian oil, that the heating oil prices and the gasoline prices to warm your home are going to be out of control. We may actually even have a shortage. Can you imagine you're in your home this winter? I know it's hard. It's hot, very hot outside right now for June 20th. But imagine it's November and you're freezing to death, and the heating oil or the gas bill you maybe can afford, but there's actually none of it. There's no gas and there's no heating oil because there's a shortage. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be a shortage in the United States, but there will be an absolute out-of-control price on those items. That is why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. We're going to go over the importance of why you not only have to get the check right now, but you also have to learn the skill set because you're going to go back and be getting these monies. Here's a graphic about this. This is utilities. I've been getting people utilities bills since the start of the pandemic. But folks, I have never ever given you a warning like this. This is a red flag warning. The utility bills this winter will be absolutely out of control. And Germany said that minutes ago. And that is why you cannot wait to get those four stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Stay with me on this broadcast. Did you become a member yet during this broadcast? Or are you already a member? I'm going to go over the importance of getting these checks and then learning how to get more checks as the heating bills for gasoline or whether you use oil at home are going to be out of control later this winter. We're going to go over all those details about how to get those checks. Let's go back to those breaking news comments from Germany, and it impacts you because they are doing something people thought would never happen. What are they doing? The German leadership in control of their government are Green Party. They're pro-energy. They're anti-coal burning. And guess what they're saying? They're saying today, for June 20, 2020, that we have 2022, that we have such a serious problem with the shortage of gasoline because of the because of the embargo of the Russian oil, that we're going to have to take coal burning factories out of mothball, out of closure, and turn them on for the first time in many, many years because our citizens are going to have nothing to keep their homes warm in the winter months. Folks, this is a red alarm. Now, again, I do not believe that we have a shortage of any of those in the United States, but I believe the prices will be out of control. And this is why you got to be prepared for all those situations. We'll be going more to that story in just a second. But first, let me explain where this economy is and where we're going. It's very, very important in view of what's coming up later in this broadcast. There's three phases of this economy that we're undergoing. It's from now to September, phase one. Phase two is September to January, and phase three is January thereafter. Let's go over that again. The current phase is now to September. It's a downward spiral that's very, very abrupt, very quick. It's going to blindside people. It's going to give a lot of whiplash because people are going to see good times back in February and March and think they're still there. They're not. And then by September, you're going to see the brakes slammed on the truck as quickly as possible, coming to a screeching stop. Then September to January starts phase two. How bad will September be? Imagine I'm telling you in June that September is going to be as bad as the lockdown of March of 2020. Horrifically bad. Now, the only difference, which is great news for you, is that you have a pre-warning. You have a pre-warning because this is June 20th. You have a pre-warning of 90 days to get yourself financially lined up and secure before September. Unlike the pandemic, where they said you're on lockdown within 24 hours, you have a pre-warning. And then January to 2024 will be the recession. Now, this is why I want to lead with that analysis. And of course, that's a new graphic. I want to lead with that analysis because this is so important. You're going to see a really bad economy for a couple of years. And I don't want you to get hung up on words. And that's what broadcast media is absolutely trying to do. They're asking questions. Is this a recession? Is that a recession? Is a recession? When a recession? It's all about the word recession. Folks, you could literally lose your home. You could lose your car. You could lose your job without a recession because the economy is going to go into a tailspin so dramatically. Let me make clear what's going on. Janet Yellen was asked over the weekend, are we going into recession? Last week, Joe Biden was asked, are we going into recession? And then they had financial analysts on Saturday morning news saying, recession, not recession. I don't care what the word is called. All I care about is how bad the economy is. And the economy is going to be really bad. Let's go over what's going to happen in this first phase between now and September. Unemployment is going to surge out of control. Housing is going to plummet. Auto is going to fall apart. Travel and leisure and hospitality fall as well. And also consumer valuations of savings are going to go down. So if you own crypto, it's already crashing. If you own stocks, are already crashing. And if you own bonds, are already crashing. Now understand, this is just phase one. This morning, the markets are closed. The markets are closed because of the holiday, the federal holiday today. But immediately the lead story was, oh, Bitcoin found some resistance level at 20,000. My response is, who cares? I mean, who cares? This is June 20th. You got a downward spiral between now and September. You find a resistance level in 1 week in June. Well, what are you going to do for August or September? It's just phase one. And then phase two is going to be the real kid and caboodle. Do you ever say that expression? I say it once in a while. Kid and caboodle. September is going to be really bad. You're going to have the resistance level then. And then January is even worse. why am I going over this so importantly with you? Because there's some people that are trying to find the bottom right now. And folks, we're just starting. We're just starting this rodeo, and you don't want to get bucked off the horse because it's getting really bad very quickly. Let me give you an example. When you look at this graphic, the devaluation of items like stocks are going to be felt most in phase three, because we're going to have a 48% devaluation in a recession with a bear market. We're only in a bear market right now. That's why we're only down 26% in phase one for stocks. So what do you need to do? You need to do three things. First, you need to get stimulus, as much stimulus as you can. Get it and keep on getting it. Second, you need to raise your savings. You need to raise your savings by spending less. And Americans are already doing that. Consumer confidence has fallen apart in the last 2 weeks since people saw that consumer price index release 2 weeks ago, CPI, which is inflation. They got spooked and they're not spending. Millennials not spending either. A new report says millennials are not buying homes or cars or anything that requires debt. That brings me to number three. Remove your ARDs. That's adjustable rate debt instruments. Anything that has an adjustable rate to the debt, like credit card debt, like car loans, get rid of them, pay them off, or switch them to fixed. There's a report out today which sort of is much of what we're talking about. This attempt to find the bottom, this attempt to find good news, this attempt to always find something positive. And trust me, I was usually that guy. I'm usually that guy. I'm usually the guy who's trying to motivate you, put a smile on your face, but I'm not going to sugarcoat something that's a bad situation, because guess what? You'll be left holding a tin cup at the corner fire hydrant. The new report out today says the housing market's in a better position than it was in 2007. Well, who cares? I mean, who cares? This is a better position than 2007. Is it a better position than 2011? No. I mean, let's just choose a really bad year. It's in a better position than the 1920s. Okay, great. What does that have to do with me? I mean, that's sort of what's going on. That type of article. Oh, Bitcoin found a resistance level of a horrible number of 20,000, and it's holding up resistance for 4 hours. Oh, great news! It's that type of attempt. Jed Young, do you think this is a recession today? No, it's not a recession today. Oh, we're good then. And I got to tell you, there's that attempt to just sort of find like this was a walk in the park, and it was just 2 days, and we're good times are back to raw. Not happening. And that is that incredible quote that I ran all weekend long. I don't know if I'm running this recording, but I remember it by heart. That was from that big, wonderfully beloved analyst at Alliance that says it's going to be a lot of silliness ending very quickly. The silliness stems from people who have seen the Federal Reserve of the United States and the federal central banks of other countries supporting interest rates for many, many years. And that's why you had a 0% interest rate, not only in the United States, but internationally. Those times are gone as of last week. It's that recent. They called it Interest Rate Liberation Day. No joke, that's actually what they called it. Because suddenly interest rates are going to float up higher, and when they float up higher, that's when things get really bad really quickly. Now, let me go over, is recession likely or recession not likely? Over the weekend, I said I don't want you to focus too much on the word recession, but I need you to understand how this works, because it's very, very straightforward. If there's a shortage of gasoline, then gasoline prices go higher. If gasoline prices go higher, then the consumer price index number, which is the CPI, goes higher. It's a number that's dependent upon the price of goods you buy at the market and the price of gasoline. And then if the CPI goes higher, then the Federal Reserve raises rates. That's what they said last week. And if the Federal Reserve raises rates, you go into inflation. You go into recession. It's that simple. Again, if there's a shortage of gasoline prices go higher. If gasoline prices go higher, then the CPI goes higher. That is an inflationary number that is determined by gasoline and cost of goods in the supermarket, for example. And if the CPI continues to go higher, then the Federal Reserve raises rates. And if they continue to raise rates, you go into recession. Pretty simple. That's why I don't want you to focus on what is the situation right now, where is it going, what is it called, what is it. I want you to just know it's really bad, and it's getting really bad very quickly. Let me go back to those comments, which I wanted to hit on now, from Germany, and it's absolutely very important for you. Germany's leadership in control is a pro-climate leadership, a green party, anti-coal burning, anti gas power vehicles, pro EVs, very anti Joe Manchin. And they literally overnight said, we're not stupid. We got to burn some coal. We got to burn some coal because we have now embargoed Russian oil, not completely, just somewhat. And we are going to leave our citizens with nothing to heat their homes in the winter. They're going to die. I mean, let's be very blunt. You have no heating, you have nothing to heat the homes, people die. And I'm not telling you there's a shortage like that in the United States again. I'm just telling you the price is going to go out of control because we do have a shortage of the fuel. How bad is the situation right now? Well, the situation is really quite bad. Nord Stream 1 is that pipeline that feeds Germany directly from Russia, and it's not completely off. I mean, it's only down a certain percentage. But what's going on is that the heating oil crisis in Germany is so pronounced that its economic minister, Robert Habeck, yesterday said it's going to be really tight in the winter. That's another way to say you're going to be in trouble. He said it will have to cut compensation. It will have to remove the gasoline production coming in from Nord Stream from Russia, and we'll have to find some way to offset it domestically. And that is turning on coal burning machinery that has been turned off for many, many years, the most carbon intensive fossil fuel plants in Germany to make sure their citizens survive this winter. You see the severity of this? I mean, these are people who would never do this because it's against their policies. They're pro-environment, they're Green Party, and they say, but we can't kill our citizens. We got to have oil, and we're going to turn on the most intensive, carbon-intensive fossil fuel producing items that have been turned off for decades. This is bitter, but it's almost necessary situation to reduce gas consumption, and we must do it and do it as much as possible in summer and autumn. So they're very smart. And I didn't realize that quote until I just saw it right now. He's basically saying, this is June, we're going to start producing the carbon footprint right now to prepare our citizens for the winter. You know why I read that quote. If he's preparing his citizens for the winter right now, then you're going to prepare yourself for the winter right now as well. And what are we going to do? We're going to go over the importance of Check C in just a second. Check C involves your utilities. And one of the most important things I always remind viewers with utilities is that you want to get as many of your utilities paid for. But in the winter months, the ones that are going to be out of control this year are not going to be the telephone, unless you're, calling over to, Germany to discuss their fossil fuel policies. The bills are going to be out of control for utilities this winter are going to be gas, if you're powered by gas in the home, or heating oil, if you're powered by heating oil in the home, and they are going to be astronomical. How big are they going to be? I'm not a heating oil expert, but if it correlates to the price of gasoline at the pump or the price of Brent crude internationally, well, you see what's happened. You see what happened. We have gone from $2 to $6 in the United States. Well, $5 domestic, AAA national average right now. That is more than 300% up. So if your bill last year was $200 a month, it would likely be $600 a month this winter. And that is why I need you to get Check C. Now, let me tell you why I'm talking about Check C specifically. We've been doing Check C since December 2020. We've been getting these bills, like heating oil, since December 2020 when the pandemic hit. But Check C involves more than that. It involves a mindset. It involves a mindset of picking up the phone and saying, I need help. Can you help me with that heating oil bill? Yeah, I can. Or no, we don't do that. We ran out of money. And then picking up the phone and calling the nonprofits, can you help me with that heating oil bill? You know what I've always taught you. Get bills paid for or helped out before the situation is tough. And this is June. It's 1,000 degrees outside. You are not turning on the gas to heat the home today, but you are preparing yourself right now on learning how to get bills paid like heating oil. And there's nothing to preclude you from picking up the phone and contacting one of those nonprofits right now and getting the heating oil bill for June paid for so that you know how to go back to that same person. Yeah, you see how I'm doing this in October and say, hi, it's me again. You help me with that June bill. What are we talking about? The way we've often done these bills is phases or rounds. I used to call them rounds. I haven't used this word in about almost 3 weeks. I say get a 3 or 4 months of this round. Get 3 or 4 months. That's Nisi, that's Margaret, that's Johnny, that's Mark. 3 or 4 months. This is June. So you're maybe not heating the house with a lot of gasoline at the moment because it's just, you're air conditioning the house. But go get whatever that bill is. Maybe it's only $45 this month. Go get that bill paid for June, July, August. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. So that when September comes around, you call that person up and says, I'd like to get another round. Oh, you would? Yeah, I remember I helped you back in June. Yeah, I really appreciate the $40 or $50 you got for me. The bill's really going through the roof. It is, it's getting cold. People need a lot of bills. So how many months can you do for me? Can you do me a lot of months? Can you carry me into January? Well, let me see what I can do. Let me see. Maybe I can do October, November, December, January. Maybe I can do 5 months for you. Oh, that would really help. You've already established the relationship with that person on the phone. You've gotten some sum of money with them before when no one was calling for heating oil right now. You see how smart this is? This is how you do money. You get a little bit of the money of the situation you know is going to be a big problem later this year. You get a little bit of it now from an organization or from the entity itself. And so that when you go back in a few months from now, you say, hey, it's me again. Can you give me more money? And they will. They're more likely to give you money in 3 or 4 months from now as a second round than you calling up for the very first time in November saying, hi, I heard you maybe can help me. Oh, yeah, you're the 9,000th person that's called me in the last 10 seconds. As opposed to you calling again for the second time in 3 months. I remember you from the summer. You were very smart. You called up and just wanted $65 and you wanted to establish that relationship and you knew you were going to have problems. I remember you. Absolutely. Now, let's be very frank. The end of the year is when the nonprofits run through their money and the nonprofits run out of funds sometimes at the end of or not run out of funds. They have less funds by the end of the year. And they get replenished in January. Yeah, you can't freeze to death in November, December. You got to survive all those months. That is why it's so important to learn the skill of picking up the phone, learn the skill of establishing the relationship with the person and getting the money, and learn the skill of getting money and then going back and getting money. It's all a personal dynamic. And one of the things I've never really taught on this channel, which I probably should, is the dynamic of establishing a relationship with a person when you're talking about your money. I don't care whether it's your bank or whether it's your lender, but in this case, I'm talking about the person who's helping you for your utility bills. I want you to establish that relationship with that person now. It involves you being kind, considerate, professional, respectful. You know how many people in November are literally going to be pain in the butts, rude, obnoxious, just abrupt and abrasive. And they're going to say, I need money. I'm going to die. I need money right now to eat my heating oil. What, do you not care? They're going to be really angry and really abrasive and very tough. And they're going to call that person on the phone, and the person on the phone is going to just be rolling their eyes. And you have already trained yourself how to be professional and respectful on the phone, how to prepare what you say ahead of time before you make the phone call. That's why it's so important what Germany's saying like now. They're getting the oil lined up right now in the summer months before the situation gets worse. The details coming out of the financial markets today, even though they're closed, as analysts are still in there, some of them are in the office, and that's why I have some breaking news on their front, is that they're trying to sort of equate this to something else. And that is really troubling. What is this? This is a downward spiral of this economy. And when we talk about the housing industry, they're talking about mortgage delinquencies are a low number right now, good, and that they don't think that the housing market will be as much of a bust as it really is going to be. They're wrong. And the thing that I want you to understand is the following, that a lot of the programs that helped you so dramatically during the pandemic are not there anymore and are not coming back. Mortgage forbearance, which was basically if you couldn't pay your mortgage, they wouldn't come after you or foreclose, is still not there. But there is still about 700,000 borrowers that are still in the forbearance because they're grandfathered. They got in the program earlier. If you do not recall, when the pandemic first hit, state governors and also the federal government and also the private sector agreed to not turn off your utility bill if you could not pay it because of the situation with COVID. You didn't have to tell them, I can't pay the bill. They just wouldn't pay it, turn it off. If you're $100 behind on the bill, they would never turn off your utilities during the pandemic. That's gone. That's gone. So, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in November. Some people will not be able to afford their utility bill, and then they'll just assume that they're not going to have the bill turned off. They may turn it off. Unless Joe Biden or the state steps in, they may actually turn it off. What about rent? You're seeing a very big heating oil bill in November, and then you're worried about making rent. There's no rent forbearance. There's no eviction moratorium anymore. There's no eviction moratorium. So that is why it's so important to do three things, which I'm teaching in this video today. This is all breaking news for June 20th, 2022. You need to get every stimulus check that's available. You need to raise your savings, and you need to remove adjustable rate debt. If you have credit card debt, pay it off. If you have a flexible mortgage rate, switch it to fixed. If you have a car loan, switch it to fixed and get rid of it. Because what's going to happen is the following. September to January is going to start phase 2. September is going to look like day 1 of the pandemic lockdown. It's going to be horrific. And Americans are going to look left and right for a lot of assistance, and they're going to realize that it's not there. You already know it, because I'm giving you the pre-warning. That's why it's great news that you're watching this channel. You're getting the pre-warning of the situation across the board. And I got to tell you, because I've been very blunt and I haven't been mincing my words, and I won't ever mince my words when money is involved, that a lot of the financial analysts, a lot of the administration people in the White House, and even the Federal Reserve are selling information, are sending information that is simply untrue time and time again, and people that may rely on that information are going to get burned. On Friday, the White House had a meeting with the press in the Oval Office, and the president was asked, are we going into recession? Inevitable? He said, no, it's not inevitable. This economy is in a really good situation. Not true. We will go into recession if we do not get the replacement of the gasoline. That is a fait complete. Then Janet Yellen spoke on Saturday. She was asked the same situation. She said, we can avoid a recession. No, you can't. If you cannot get the gasoline prices down, the CPI goes higher, and then the Fed raises interest rates. Meantime, the Federal Reserve continues to run its fake narrative that interest rates are coming down to 2% later this year. I said that's not happening, and no one has confidence anymore in the Federal Reserve. Situations change very dramatically, very quickly. Here's what you need to know, and you see a word repeated many times in this broadcast today because it is so important. It all goes back to gasoline. It all goes back to gasoline. This is what's going to happen between now and September if nothing changes the White House or the Western allies. And since they have not changed course since the month of March, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. And even worse, indications now say that the war in Ukraine and Russia may go on for years. When there's a shortage of gasoline, gasoline prices go up. Why is there a shortage of gasoline? Because we have removed, as part of the Western allies, 3.5 million barrels of gasoline per day. Hence, gasoline prices are going to go up. When gasoline prices go up, then what happens? Gasoline is a component item of something called the Consumer Price Index number, the CPI. And if the CPI goes up, then that is an indication that inflation's gone up, because CPI is inflation. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve governors last week said, we rose interest rates based upon a higher inflationary number in the CPI. And if Jay Powell keeps on raising interest rates, which he's going to, every time he does it, it does not reduce the price of gasoline. It sends you into recession. This is my projection for Jay Powell, that he's going to do 3/4 of a basis point in the July meeting. They're off in August, then half in September, half in October, quarter in November. My prediction as well is that between now and September, the White House and the Western allies are simply just not going to get it together. And they're not going to go buy the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing. And the situation for gasoline is going to surge the price even higher. Tonight on Easy Light, I'll show you why I believe it's going to go to $10 a gallon. That is why you have to get a forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. You got to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. And the second half of this video, we're going to go over that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Step 1, become a member. Step 2, go into this video and subscribe. Step 3, get that incredible newsletter and get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. This is why it's so important to get these checks right now, and I'll explain to you in the second half of this video when we go from a warm June to a cold November. Americans are going to be looking for items. They're not going to be there anymore. And you have already learned how to get them. You have already established a relationship on how to get them with the people who pay out these checks. And you're going to go back and get more checks because this phase 2 in September is not going to be a walk in the park. You're going to prepare yourself right now to financial stability between now and September and establish relationships to ensure that you can go back and try and get more money again from September to January with the most pressing and most difficult bills, which are utilities. Get stimulus, raise those savings, and remove flexible debt. We're going to go over all that in the second half of this video. But coming right after the commercial break, we're going to go with those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. We're going to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. I'm going to go over the checks with you. Become a member, as thousands have. Get that newsletter, as thousands do daily, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go right in the newsletter and get that 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. We'll go over how to get these checks, how the newsletter works, and how you are going to get financial independence going into phase 2. It's a great day because you are ahead of the game. You have 3 months of pre-warning. You have 3 months to get it right. I'll go over the next second half how to get it right and how to get it right starting today. It's a big afternoon for June 20th, 2022, and I'll see you back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And good afternoon. Hope you're having a beautiful day. It's June 20th, 2022 from the shores of Santa Monica, California, and it's afternoons. In this big second half, we're going to go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. You need to get them. If there was any indication that you need to get them, it's today. As Germany basically signals there's going to be big problems with utility bills in the winter, and that's why you got to get that 4 stimulus check now in every U.S. state, which includes money for utilities. We're going to go over those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state starting right now. Hope you're having a beautiful day and hope you're staying cool. You know, you have a utility bill right now, and that utility bill is air conditioning. Electric, potentially, is how it's powered. So certainly you can get that bill paid as well. I'm just preparing you for the hardest of all the bills, the highest, which is the ones coming in the winter months. Back in the month of March, the viewers of the show who are very smart and learn really well, and I love them to death, said, LA, can you go find me a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state? They're very smart because I train them to get money when times are good. You don't wait when times are bad, and you already saw in this graphic a lot of times coming bad in the next few months. They're coming. They're not waiting to get checks. They've been getting them since the month of March. And that's when I first delivered these checks. These checks, these 4 stimulus checks, are in every U.S. state and have been in every U.S. state since March and been on this channel since March. There's different ways to get stimulus, either by Congress, by the president, or by the states. And these checks come from Congress and from the states, and they are in every U.S. state. Eligibility is key. I want to make sure that as many of my viewers are qualified for these checks. You are. So go get them. 75,000 less, single individual, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. If you rent, if you own, go get them. If you're on benefits, if you're not on benefits, go get them. And if you have children, if you don't have children, go get them. We're going to go over each of these checks. It's important to understand that I look for big checks, not measly checks. because a $100 check or $200 check is not going to fill up the gasoline in the car. I need big tens of thousands of dollars of checks that give you financial independence between now and get you to September to phase 2, and then potentially gets you through much of phase 3 in the earliest months, because when that recession hits in January 2023, it's going to be severe. And with that, let's get the very first check. I give them a lettering system starting with check A. Let's jump right in to check A starting right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 four stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you are on benefits, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Grant Check for weatherization, and it's absolutely wonderful. How do you get this check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go right on the video and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, go under the video where it says join the channel and click the link and become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP member. You'll see the people in the live chat that have a Purple Hawk emoji behind their name. They are members. Then you go right into that newsletter, delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You go right down to where you see check A, and you click the link and apply. It is a $6,500 to $12,000 check, and the rounding times are generally about 1 week out when it first started. You're not going to stop there yet. You're going to go get check B. It's $15,000 to $80,000 four stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you are on benefits, go get it. How do you get check B? Same way as check A. You go under the video, you subscribe. You go under the video, you hit the join and become a member to this channel. Then you open that membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you go right down to check B. You click the link and you go right into the nationwide website. You choose your state, you go right in, and you pounce and apply. In the case of check A and B, it's very important to use the newsletter because I'm giving you exactly the correct link to go right in. There are other things out there in the landscape of the federal government that may look similar. They are not the same. Some people are referring to weatherizing grants in certain states in private messages to me over the weekend saying this was closed and that was closed. It's not the same one. It's not the same one. You're choosing something that no longer is on the books. That's why you have to become a member and do things very precisely. You're next going to go get check C. It is the wonders of rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. Check C has been on this channel since December 2020. When the pandemic was underway and people were freezing and it was the thick of the winter, people need this assistance. Then when third stimulus became law, there was a lot more money of it. This is the residue of the third stimulus. It is tracking at a $2,000 a month average check monthly, MSC, but many viewers are getting a lot more money. How do you get these incredible check Cs? You do the similar way. You become a subscriber, then you become a member, go right on the membership link, you go down the membership newsletter that has a lot of other data in there. Daily has the price of corn and wheat and the gasoline prices, and also has the latest details on your benefits going up. But then you go down to check C, and it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. Yes, in the case of check C, you're making phone calls. This is what I was referring to earlier in the video. Making phone calls is a skill. It's a skill. Some people feel very comfortable clicking a button and typing something into a website. And some people feel less comfortable talking to someone on the phone. I know it because I've been making this recording for a while. And it took a lot of effort in the earliest days of 2020 to tell people to pick up the phone call. Really, I got to talk to someone? I got to talk to someone? Well, you ordered the pizza last night. Yeah, but it was pizza. I have to I have to call them up. Yeah, you got to call them up. And once you do it one time and you get that first check, you just feel empowered and realize I can do this. And that's what we talked about a lot in December 2020. Skill set. Teaching the skill so that you're comfortable with the skill. And that's what was coming up earlier in this video. That was what was going on earlier in this video. I said, I want you to get that utility bill paid. I don't care if it's only $40 for the gas bill right now. Get it paid from either one of the places listed in the newsletter for the government or from the nonprofits. Get it paid so that when you go back in a few months from now, they're going to remember you. You'll write down the person's name you spoke to. They'll remember you and you ask for another couple months and they'll say, more likely, yes, when they already had that relationship with you. Let's look at the success stories we've had for these utilities and these rents. Here's the rent. $20,000 to $30,000. Here's the utilities. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000 a year for utilities, and for SNAP, he's getting $25,000 a year over 10 years. Let's look at the combos. Nisi keeps on going back and getting money. So does Margaret. So does Mark. So does Lorraine. So does Johnny. Because there's always a utility bill to pay. There is always something out there to get paid. This is all Chuck C. And that's why Nisi went from this graphic, 23,000 to 50,000. Mark went from 32,000 to 50,000 to 166,000. He got check B just recently. Lorraine, she was at 105. She went to 120. That is why it's so important to do this right now. You see how I care about you? See how we care about one another? Who would tell you in June, this is how I'm going to prepare you for November, other than me? That's how I really prepare you out for getting these sums of money, preparing you for the skill about how to get them as money. 3 things I want you to do going into this video. Hit that subscribe button. Then there's a little bell at the front of this channel. Hit that bell so that all notifications, ALL, are set, all notifications. And then third, become a member. Under the video, join this channel and get that newsletter Monday through Friday. Go right in there, get B, A, C, and there's also some details about potential check Ds in some states. Over the weekend, some people in the live chat were asking, about 4 or 5, were asking the following question. Whatever happened to the Build Back Better Act? Should we advocate for the Build Back Better Act? When are they voting on the Build Back Better Act? My mindset on the Build Back Better Act is the following. I believe it's going to get done. I believe you're going to get checks from it. But I do not want to make it the focus of any recording so that you sit around and wait for that money rather than not getting check A, B, or C right today, rather than not understanding how severe this economy is going to be. Because in my opinion, it's nearly impossible to get you anything from Build Back Better Act in your hands by September. And you need money in your hands before September. And so that is why I rather have you focus every waking hour watching this channel, watching every video of breaking news on where this economy is, so you know and you prepare your family financially. And the other waking hours, getting checks day in, day out. I don't want you to sit around and look around for what Bernie or Liz or Joe are doing about a piece of legislation that may eventually happen, because if you're waiting for that, you're not preparing yourself financially for phase 2 and phase 3 of this economy. Now, the other great news is that your benefits are going up, and we have a new graphic on this channel. Hopefully the graphic explains this situation a little bit even clearer. Of course, it's in the membership newsletter, and it's all wonderful. The graphic is not that one, but this one. Your benefits are going up. Your benefits are going up. Why are they going up? They're going up because the CPI released 2 Fridays ago was high, was out of control. It was 8.5%. It was supposed to be 8.3%. When that CPI was released, the Social Security chief actuary, Stephen Goss, said that he believes, this is SS, Social Security, that your benefits will go up 8%, about 8%. His prediction is based upon what that CPI number came in just a few days ago, and it was a May number. Now, the definitive answer will come when we see the CPI-W for the months of July, August, and September. Your benefits currently, which are based upon COLA, are determined based upon the CPI-W in the months of July, August, and September. Again, your COLA is determined by whatever CPI-W is in the months of July, August, and September. What is CPI-W? It's a subsection of CPI. Goss is basically at Social Security looking at what happened to the CPI, the headline number, a week ago for the month of May, and saying, you know what, I think it's going to be about 8%. Well, when I look at the situation, I believe that the CPI-W is going to be really pushed higher because of gasoline problems. And if the CPI-W is pushed much higher, I believe that Social Security has undervalued the prediction of what they think is going to happen in July or September. If gasoline goes higher, the CPI will go -W will go higher. And that will likely signal that in July to September, we're not going to come in where Goss has us at Social Security, likely much higher, closer to 9% is my prediction. 8% raise of your benefits would be $300 more per month. 9% would be even more than that. A nonprofit organization called the Seniors League believe it's going to come in at 8.6%. Now, let's be very frank. All we have to do is basically wait to July, August, September. We'll look and see how much they go up when we see that number. Now, Bernie Sanders, Liz Warren, and another legislator have introduced a piece of legislation to swap the CPI-W to CPIE, and that is really great news. That would lock you in something closer to inflation across the board. What's important to understand is that mindset, knowledge, and preparation is what's going to put you in a better situation than your neighbor in the next 3 months and the next 3 years. Knowledge comes from watching every video on this channel that is brand new every day. And when you know where this economy is, where you know where this economy is going, and boy, it's changing every few hours. You got it. You see how dramatically it is. When you know where it is, then you can prepare your family by getting the stimulus, by raising your savings, and by removing any flexible any adjustable rate debt in the household. Anyone who doesn't take the effort to learn about where this economy is, learn about where it's going, or get the money that's available right now is setting themselves up for financial peril. Because the situation is not that bad right now, because we're only in phase 1, and this is only June. The viewers who are prepared and mindful and smart and intelligent, they're preparing themselves right now because they understand what I'm saying. September is going to be really bad. It's going to be as bad as the lockdown. Then January is going to be horrific. It's going to be the recession. If you've never endured a recession, it's like nothing of a generation. It's a lot of problems and a lot of harm. That is why anyone who stays on point and understands the importance of getting every pot of money right now will do really well. Those that do not will get crushed by the interest rates, will get crushed by potential stagflation, will get crushed by the mortgage rates and its impact on the housing market that'll hurt people who don't even own homes, get crushed by the following stock market, get crushed as gasoline prices surge out of control, get crushed as Americans try to chase down the word recession but not focus on how bad the economy is right now. And there's so much else out there that is going to get worse. As the price of grain, wheat that you pay for in the supermarket is continuing to spiral higher, as the war in Ukraine is far from over, could potentially go on for 2 years. All this data basically says that it goes back to gasoline. And there is no solution to gasoline pursued by the White House. I'll go over that detail tonight. Then all these problems continue to grow worse by the minute. And that is why it ain't a walk in the park. And this is not the bottom. This is the spiral downward that's going to be for 3 years, and we're just starting. So what do? You become a member this minute. You don't wait 3 months into September. You don't wait 3 weeks. You don't wait 3 days. You become a member right today. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, and get that 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. And then you tune in tonight, because I'll have more breaking news tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time for America's most beloved show in prime time. It's evenings. Meantime, stay with the channel, because in the next 90 days, you're going to see big changes coming as well. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Hope you're having a wonderful holiday as well. And stay informed, stay focused. Stay LALATE for more.